we survived. We survived our first 2 weeks of homeschooling, and definitely got a little bit cocky after the first week, and that backfired. But I will get into that in just a minute. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my schedule for my kindergartner and first grader, and then also how our first 2 weeks went. And so let's hear all about it. Welcome back to the Bird's Nest School Nest. Bird's Nest School Nest? No. Welcome back to the Bird's Nest Schoolhouse. My name is Jocelyn, and I am a first-time homeschooling mom to a kindergartner and first grader. And yes, we are officially homeschooling. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that there was a question about whether or not we were going to be going up to the States and whether I should hold off. And I did get more information about that, and we are not going up in the next month. I decided to just jump in. I looked at my yearly schedule. I counted 180 days. So to avoid going into far into next summer, I just went ahead and prepped everything real quick and got started. We jumped right in. So it has been going well, but let me tell you how I've set up our days, and then I will get into how our first and second week went. So we are currently between houses right now. So in the morning, we do get up at our other house. We get up, we get dressed, we eat breakfast, get ready for the day, and then we come here because all of our homeschool stuff is here. So we plan to be here around 8:30. We definitely have gotten here a little bit later on some days, but around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I do want to fit our schedule into before we go home for lunch, because we do have to go back to the other house to eat lunch, which is a whole thing I'll get into in a little bit. We start in the morning. We start with our morning time, and then I lay out a puzzle, and then we do our handwriting. Okay, let me just show you. So we do our morning time, and then I have it where we do math and we do pinwheels Monday through Thursday. And speaking of routine, so when we get up here, I lay out a puzzle. I learned very fast. I did not do this on the first couple days, and I picked up really fast that I had to have something laid out and ready for my kids to go to keep their attention while I was working with the other child, because that constant mommy, hey mommy, look at this, oh, I don't do this. No. So I would put out a puzzle and I put out an activity in the morning for them, so they know that when I'm working with the other child, number one, they're not supposed to come up and be distracting to the other child, but also they're supposed to stay on the carpet and do that activity and build that puzzle. First thing in the morning, I lay out that, and the activities have to be different. They can't do the activity that they did yesterday, because that's just boring, apparently. So I have a little rotation of activities, like the math link cubes, I've got magnetiles, I've got Legos, so puzzle pieces that click together, and then I've got a whole bunch of puzzles. So they have a puzzle, they have an activity, those things rotate. So that's what the other child is doing while I'm working on math or language arts with the other one. On Mondays, we have handwriting without tears that we will do after our little morning setup. We'll come out, and right now we can do this together as a family because the books kind of line up. So we will do the handwriting without tears, and then on Mondays and Wednesdays when we do handwriting without tears, my daughter is allowed to pick out whether we do math or we do language arts first. It doesn't matter to me which one we do first, but she gets to pick which of the subjects, the core subjects, that we do first. And I want to say every time she's chosen math. So Tuesdays and Thursdays we have Spanish, and on those days my son gets to pick which we do first, math or language arts. And again, I'm pretty sure every time he's chosen math. So that's kind of cool that they're into math, that they're both into the math program. So shout out to Kate Snow, Math with Confidence. So far we have a winner there. So that is our Monday through Thursday schedule. I have about, I want to say it takes us about 10 minutes to do math with both of them. My son may take a little bit longer just because his lesson is a little bit longer, but my daughter has about 5 to 8 minutes in her before she's just done, like before she starts bouncing around, wanting to play with all the things on the table. And so I really try and keep it short and sweet with her. My son takes, 10 minutes ish, 10, 12 minutes. It's not that long. Once we get to the games, he really likes that. So, oh gosh, it's really windy here today. And then language arts takes, I want to say, probably about 20 minutes for the pinwheels. It takes about 20 minutes for each of them. My son, right now, we're just kind of doing review with him, so I kind of just set a timer with that, and however far we get, that's it, that's fine. And then my daughter, we're kind of following the schedule more strictly, and we'll do review and some games and sing a song, and she's good with that. But slow and steady. So every day I have us doing our build your library, and right now that might change because every day, and that might change. If you have done build your library, please comment below and tell me how you did the schedule. If you did it every day and just followed it along, or um, if you condensed it, if you cut stuff out. I wanna do a couple weeks of everything that it has listed, and then hopefully I can make some edits. But I'm very eager to hear how everybody else has done this schedule. The first week. So that's how I have it laid out. And then Friday, we still do a little bit of our language arts with our Explode the Code books, and then my son has his Explode the Code book here. We have Build Your Library is 5 days a week, how it's written down, and then we do our space study and any of the other like little things like our memory books or our planners, things like that. Just a light day on Friday. So how did our first 2 weeks go on that schedule? The first week, I just did math and pinwheels. So I wanted to kind of ease us into it, and it went really, really well. And at the end of the week, I was like, like that was a really good week. This is not so bad. I mean, the kids were engaged, I was engaged. It wasn't it was just easy. Like, so I got really cocky. I was like, oh well, originally my plan was to do math and language arts on the first week, and then add in just build your library on the second week. And then on the third week, add in the Spanish and the handwriting without tears. And then maybe, depending on how that went, add in the morning basket. But because our first week went so well, I was like, let's just add it all in. Yeah, that didn't go well at all. At all. I really had to check myself, because I have to remember that this is all new to us. My kids' idea of school is they go to school and they play with their friends and they build towers and they play in their stations and they do 10 minutes of singing songs about numbers and the alphabet, and then they went and played some more. And this is different. So I'm new to this, they're new to this, and in the second week, so we did our math. We got up here and I started morning basket. I did not wait. I just was like, we're gonna add it all in. So we started morning basket, and when we get up to here to our house, I put out the puzzle, I put out the activity, and the kids are like, I'm holding up, the conversation cards, or we did our breathing activities, and the kids just like, Mom, we see it, but can we just play? Like, can we just do our puzzles? Can we just build our towers? Like, we don't want to talk about that card. Like, we just want to play. And in my mind, it's written on the schedule, so we're going to do it. And I had to check myself. Just because it's written on the schedule does not mean we have to do it. So I kind of took down morning basket a notch. And then we did handwriting without tears, which they both really enjoy, especially because they just get to play on their chalkboard. They get to write on the chalkboard and they get to erase it. Like, I think that's the only reason they don't mind doing the handwriting without tears is the chalkboard. And so we did that, and about 10 minutes with that. We did 1 or 2 letters, and then we put it away, and that was fine. And then they would go back and play while I set up math or pinwheels. And like I said before with math, like once my daughter kind of hits that like 8-minute mark, game over. I mean, yes, there's games, yes, there's a workbook, but she's pretty much done. Luckily, the workbook is only 1 page, so she can sit down and do it. And then with my son, he has more focus than his sister does. I mean, he's a year and a half older, but it's not much longer. So Once he gets finished, and the two of them, they're like, yes, they're staying on the carpet, but then they're watching with the other ones. They're like, why don't I get to do that? Why don't I get to do that? When do I get to do that? I want to do that one, not my math. It's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like. So I mean, it's like explaining. Well, he's a year older than you are, and you can't. We're gonna get there sometime, and um, then for my son, it's like, okay, well, you already know this stuff, so we're not gonna sit here and count to 8 because you already know how to count to 8. You can count to 100. So it's just like we're still in this early phase of seeing what's new and shiny, and they want to do what the other one's doing, which if you have kids close in age, it's just normal. Even not close in age, I feel like competition is normal. I want to do what they're doing. I want to do what they're doing. So that was math. And then for pinwheels, like I said, for my son, we're just kind of going through review. So some of the stuff he was fine doing, but it was too easy, and he just wanted to be finished with it, which I can understand. But I do feel like some of the things that we're working on right now, he does need to do. Like he told me, "Mommy, I know how to write already. Why are you making me write? I shouldn't have to write." It's like, well, you're gonna have many years of writing. You're gonna have lots of practice, and so it's just a learning curve. And basically, by the time that math and language arts was finished, both of my kids were done. Like, yes, the first week was great. The second week, both of them wanted to be finished after math and language arts. But because we have to go home for lunch, I had this pressure on me to finish the schedule because we're not coming back here to do more work, and I don't want to take a whole bunch of stuff home to bring it back. Like our homeschool stuff stays in one spot. So math and language arts were finished and the kids were just done. And I had all this build your library stuff to do. And if you are familiar with build your library, they have literature, they have tales, they have art, they have cooking, they have poetry. There's a lot of components. It's not like you just sit down and you read a book and then you're done with build your library. It is a number of different components. So I got to the point, and you can see my planner. Like I started out the week started out looking like this with lots of stuff written in, and then by the end of the week I had erased most of build your library. I mean, I want to keep math and language arts is a non-negotiable. We will do math and language arts Monday through Thursday, even if that means that we're doing a math song or a math book, or we're just singing our songs for pinwheels. We will do something for those two things every day. I want to establish that habit and that expectation early. My kids do really well with and that we've always been this way, and that's because of how I am. Like on Mondays we do this, on Tuesdays we do this, on Wednesdays and Thursday, Friday. So they know, and that's probably why they love the calendar so much, is that they know, and not just with school, with extracurriculars. Like on Tuesdays we have swim, on Thursdays we have piano, and Fridays we do this, and so they know in the morning, and they talk about it like, oh, today's Friday, today we go here, and it just having that expectation of every day, Monday through Thursday, we do math and language arts, and they know it, and it clicks in their brain that that is a non-negotiable. I think in the long run will really make my life easier. However, build your library. Yes, we're going to do it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be done every day. Like it's a 30-week program. I have scheduled us out for 36 weeks. Like it can take us longer. We can push it off till tomorrow. Um, so I ended up erasing, like we didn't even do it on Thursday because we had an appointment in the morning, and we came up, we did our math and language arts, but then we had to be somewhere, I don't remember, for another appointment. So it just was done. Oh my gosh, the wind. So it just got erased. Spanish, I'm not sure we're going to stick with Spanish right now because we did not get through the full lesson. I opened the book and we started it off, and we had fun. We watched the song and we talked about some words, and we practiced like 2 or 3 words, and then the kids were done. They were ready to move on, and not because they're not interested in learning Spanish, but like that was all that they could handle in the moment, and that's fine. So we might be taking a really long time to do Spanish. We might hit pause on Spanish. I'm not sure. We'll give it another week and we'll kind of see, open the lesson back up and see how it is. But one of the things that I learned is that I cannot put all this pressure on myself, that just because I planned it all out, just because I've written it all down, just because I have it in our overall planner, it doesn't have to be like, we can still wait. We can still push pause, because this second week I had put all this pressure on myself to get our whole schedule done, that the kids were getting frustrated, I was getting frustrated, and nobody's enjoying themselves when mommy's frustrated and you're frustrated, and we're just trying to plow through the schedule because it's written down. But yeah, that's definitely something I had to check myself. And this is new for my kids. This is a new concept for my kids. So this is something that we're going to have to grow over time. This expectation of, okay, now we're done with math and language arts. Let's play for a little bit and then let's come back and read a story, or let's listen to some poetry. Or it was definitely a little bit rough on the second week. A lot of bit rough. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of bit rough. And I questioned, like, what am I doing here? But I have to just give myself some grace and remember that we're new to this. I'm new to this. They are new to this. And we're going to figure it out. And I can't put so much pressure on myself. They're 4 and 5, you know. They don't know that they're going to go sit down and sit at the table and sit still and do a workbook. Like, that is something that's going to come with time. As long as we start with the expectation and we work on it every single day, it'll come with time and we will get there. I hope. Oh, right? Anyway, it was a positive 2 weeks. It was a lot of learning, and not just academic on my part too. I have to I have to keep my expectations in reality and not in the perfect homeschool world. Like, I have to keep it on my level, on my kids' level, and that's okay, as long as we get done with math and language arts. All right, guys. Well, that is how our first 2 weeks went, how we have our schedule set up. I want to say, from start to finish, with playing, with breaks, with yard play, our whole morning took about 3 hours. So we were heading home for lunch 11:30, 12 o'clock. So in time schedule wise, it's not that bad. I would say that if we were up here, I probably would keep it to just like a couple subjects in the morning and then do lunch and then come back and maybe do build your library. So that's definitely a rhythm I've got to figure out. And I look forward to the day that we're in one place. So we have a little bit more flexibility and less pressure on our schedule. But again, that pressure is just being put by me, nobody else. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and remember to hit that like and subscribe button to follow along on our first year of homeschooling journey. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!